This video is based on publicly available information, including court records and media reports. It is presented for educational and documentary purposes only. Chris Watts was not exposed by forensic evidence. He wasn't caught because of DNA, or because someone saw something they shouldn't have. What exposed him was far simpler. A decision he made when he didn't have to make one at all. And once the decision was made, everything that followed became inevitable. On August 13, 2018, Chris Watts reported his wife Shannon and their two daughters missing from their home in Colorado. At the time, there were no signs of forced entry, no clear evidence of a crime, and no immediate reason to suspect foul play. Chris appeared calm, cooperative, almost unusually composed. This wasn't panic. It wasn't confusion. It was control. Within hours of reporting his family missing, Chris Watts made a choice that investigators didn't ask for. He agreed to speak publicly. Standing in front of a local news camera, he appealed for his wife and children to return home. But what he said mattered less than how he said it. He avoided using their names. He referred to them collectively, as if they were already distant. When people experience genuine fear, their language becomes emotional and unstructured. Names repeat, details blur. Chris did the opposite. His words were measured, his tone controlled, his expressions restrained. This alone wasn't proof of guilt, but it was enough to make investigators listen more carefully. By choosing to speak publicly, Chris locked himself into a version of events. Every statement became permanent. Every detail something that would later be compared. Investigators didn't challenge him. They didn't accuse him. They simply observed. And what they noticed was consistency. Not the kind that comes from memory, but the kind that comes from rehearsal. His timeline never shifted, even when new information appeared. This is where control becomes revealing. When someone is telling the truth, small details often change. When someone is protecting a story, they don't. When Chris later agreed to a polygraph test, the pressure wasn't physical. It was psychological. He had already presented himself to the public. And now, that image had to hold. When investigators told him he failed the test, his reaction was not shock. It was release. His story changed, but only enough to redirect blame. This is common. When narratives collapse, people often try to save part of them. Chris Watts wasn't exposed by force. He was exposed by choice. By speaking when silence would have protected him. And in many cases, that's where the truth appears. If you enjoy true crime stories told through real cases and chilling details, subscribe to Dark Case Files. New stories uploaded regularly.